Challenges and failure are inevitable in life. They're intertwined into the very fabric of our existence. How you respond to these challenges will determine whether you succeed or fail. To better equip ourselves to handle life's trials, we need to adopt an unwavering mindset. This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoic philosophy is all about inner peace and calmness, even when the whole world is falling apart. Great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca were able to navigate through turbulent times by employing techniques to calm the mind in difficult circumstances. Their wisdom has been passed down for generations, and it is still as relevant as it was 2 millennia ago. As we navigate life's ups and downs, these principles will guide us toward the right path. Today, we'll talk about how to keep calm when everything is falling apart. But before we dive into detail, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell to get alerted anytime we post amazing videos like this. 1. Acknowledge that all emotions come from within. Events themselves don't directly cause emotions within us. Rather, the judgments and perspectives we layer on top of events lead to our emotional responses. This was summed up in Epictetus's quote, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." What does this mean in practice? Let's say you're cut off in traffic in a taxi and feel angry. The mere event of being cut off doesn't automatically generate the anger. Rather, you could be angry because the driver chose to take that route instead of an alternative one, or because an accident happened causing the jam in the first place. Practicing mindfulness about the origin of emotions can be tremendously helpful to maintain calm. Too often, we fail to recognize that our emotions fundamentally spring from our internal perspective, not directly from external happenings that seem to cause the emotions. By taking responsibility for our interpretations of events and how they connect to emotions arising, we no longer view ourselves as passive victims being emotionally done to by the world. This provides a greater sense of agency and ability to shape our inner experience. 2. Recognize there is life after failure. A deeply impactful component of Stoic philosophy is the belief that failure and setbacks, no matter how painful or demoralizing they may feel in the moment, do not have to equate with defeat or disaster. You must learn to view failure and adversity as a call to growth rather than collapse. Temporary defeat is never final as long as you are still striving. You might be wondering, how is such resilience and perseverance possible when you've just experienced what feels like a crippling failure or crisis? As with emotions, you must recognize the crucial role of perspective. How you judge and frame the failure in your mind determines your response to it. If framed as an irredeemable disaster, of course, despair and resignation make sense as responses. But seen clearly, almost no failure is truly make or break when placed in the context of an entire life with possibilities still ahead. Obstacles almost always present alternate pathways forward if met with resourcefulness and resolve. So, create space for clarity by consciously deciding not to judge a failure as final or all-encompassing. Strive to adopt the mindset that where there's life, there's possibility and room to turn defeat into progress with flexible thinking and dogged perseverance. This allows calm hope and determination to emerge even in darkness. 3. Challenge yourself to be brutally honest. Another important part of Stoicism is the ability to see things clearly, accurately, and objectively, even when reality is unpleasant or inconvenient. Stoics practiced vigilance against all forms of cognitive distortion that might cloud our views or enable self-deception. As Epictetus said, appearances to the mind are of 4 kinds. Things either are what they appear to be, or they neither are nor appear to be, or they are and do not appear to be, or they are not and yet appear to be. Rightly aiming in all these cases is the wise man's task. Being willing to face painful facts and confront harsh truths head-on is indispensable for staying grounded in reality. Sugarcoating inconvenient realities only gives short-term comfort while guaranteeing long-term struggle. Putting a positive spin on what is actually deteriorating serves no one. While often uncomfortable in the moment, brutal honesty provides direction by highlighting exactly where course corrections are required. When you understand where you're going wrong, You can easily correct yourself. This prevents small problems from morphing into big disasters down the road, and staying firmly grounded in reality is ultimately the wisest way to maintain genuine calmness of mind. 4. Learn to accept what you cannot control. Knowing what you can and cannot control is essential in keeping your calm. As Epictetus wrote, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. It is only after you have faced up to this fundamental rule and learned to distinguish between what you can and can't control that inner tranquility and outer effectiveness become possible. There are limits to what any individual can single-handedly influence, no matter our capabilities or determination. While this can be frustrating to accept, wasting your energy on uncontrollable outcomes is a recipe for endless pain. You simply end up spinning your wheels and tiring yourself out over things unresponsive to your will. At the same time, dedicating your energy solely to what you can control empowers you far more in the long run. This includes accepting that other people are ultimately outside your control. You cannot force people to be who you want them to be, but by focusing inward, you have the power to choose your own responses, perspectives, and actions toward others wisely. After all, this is the only thing you have control over. Practicing non-attachment to uncontrollable outcomes can be tremendously freeing. Anxiety is often rooted in our inability to tolerate uncertainty about the future. But once you accept that much of what tomorrow holds is outside your control, you can take comfort in knowing you have the power over your inner domain of perspective and principles. This becomes your anchor in the stormy seas of change. Planting your feet firmly in what is within your control grants a stable foundation to survive life's storms. 5. Adopt a growth mindset. Research and modern psychology have validated an idea that the Stoics brought about long ago, that adopting a growth mindset over a fixed mindset is essential for maintaining inner calm. Those with a fixed mindset assume personal traits like intelligence are static. They see failure as debilitating and demoralizing, often losing hope in the face of adversity. But someone with a growth mindset sees ability and skill as constantly developing, especially in response to challenges. Setbacks become opportunities for progress. Just as Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." You need to see struggling as part of the upward ascending path rather than a signal to give up. Each difficulty strengthens your ability to handle the next challenge. So long as you remain committed to growth, progress finds a way. Stoics saw hope as integral to this mindset. In any adverse scenario, there is always a path forward, even if it's obscure. With creative thinking and dogged perseverance, you can uncover hidden solutions to your problems. This mentality is fortified by the Stoic concept of amor fati, loving your fate. Rather than resent or resist misfortune, you tenderly accept reality while moving forward. Remove the word cannot from your dictionary. Each new experience holds the opportunity to better yourself if you look at it the right way. Adopting amor fati is a profound mindset shift that completely transforms how setbacks impact you. 6. Understand the transitory nature of life. It's important to remind yourself each day that all things ultimately fade and dissolve, no matter how solid or enduring they seem in the moment. Heraclitus famously said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice," underscoring the continual flux of existence. Contemplating impermanence and change allows one to avoid over-attachment to possessions, status, and outcomes, thereby laying the foundations for emotional non-reactivity. Remembering that all things, whether good or bad, shall pass one day, helps you maintain calmness and clear vision. Pleasant things never last forever, so appreciate them, but don't cling to them. Hardships never persist indefinitely either, so persevere through them, knowing better days lie ahead. Everything exists in cycles, perpetually changing form. Marcus Aurelius encourages us not to label events as either good or bad. Our bias is to call prosperity good and adversity bad, but prosperity often bears seeds of decline, while difficult times cultivate growth and renewal. With the transitory nature of existence, today's catastrophe may open doorways to tomorrow's blessings, or today's fortune may crumble, leaving us in despair. By internalizing life's transient essence, we can accept each moment as part of the natural cycle. The only constant thing is change. Circumstances will keep changing independent of your wishes, but you can find freedom by dropping your demands about fighting universal laws and aligning your perspective with reality. Each phase plays an integral role within the tapestry of life. 7. Limit excessive desires. The major source of emotional turmoil is our insatiability. Harboring endless, unrealistic expectations and desires inevitably sets us up for disappointment. By consciously tempering desires to only what's necessary and reasonable, greater tranquility can prevail. As Musonius Rufus taught, we will be most easily released from excessive desire when we learn the nature of the things which are necessary. When ambition is unchecked by wisdom, you end up clinging to arbitrary social benchmarks for enough instead of examining what fulfills your true needs. Chasing external symbols of status or success often becomes self-perpetuating, leaving you chronically dissatisfied. The Stoics knew that basing emotional well-being on acquiring more stuff requires an ever-intensifying pursuit. It is a recipe for anxiety. The Stoics prescribed bona fortuna, appreciating simple blessings already available before seeking more. Your focus should be directed first to making the most of current circumstances rather than a fixation on how conditions could be improved. By taming that insatiable appetite, room is made for flow, spontaneity, and flexibility when life throws you curveballs. Clinging solely to a predetermined vision of success binds you to opportunities outside that narrow bandwidth. Willingness to change course comes not from overinvesting in one anticipated outcome. With less grasping, equanimity persists no matter what arises. Conclusion. In the end, maintaining a calm mindset all comes down to how you see the world around you. Don't try to change the natural flow of things. Instead, become one with it. That way, nothing surprises anymore. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get more amazing content. See you in the next video.